I actually ask Martha a question directly?
Please do.
Okay. And I just want to ask this question, and then I'm actually going to go. I just want to know, so, sorry, I'm kind of backpedaling, but when you were talking about, oh, I'm so sorry, hang on. Sorry, that's my bird. When you were talking about trans, or the ideology, or I can't really remember, not being around anymore, what did you mean by that? Because I'm really curious to know, like, specifically. I'm so sorry about my bird.
It'll fade back into obscurity where it was. Like most people growing up, like I'm 43, gender ideology and its cult was not a major player in society at all. There was like some transsexuals who would be in the LGBT community, very fringy, very taboo, very like a gay world. Like that was in their world. It was in the fetishy aspect of the gay world. It was not at all in the mainstream. It would be a very frowned upon behavior in normal society. Then there was autogynephiles, which is a big portion of these men. They would just be practicing their fetish behind closed doors and maybe a little bit in the gay community, in the bars and whatnot. And then the ideology exploded around 2014, I would say. And then the social contagion exploded. And the autogynephiles were unleashed and created by Corn every day too. So this whole thing picked up speed and took off, but it will fade back into obscurity, I hope, if we win against this horrific ideology that's been perpetrated by the top down. By the way, this was not a grassroots bottom up movement. It was heavily funded and heavily pushed by autogynephile billionaires like Martine Rothblatt and Jennifer Pritzker, who funded the absolute shit out of it, going through academia, through queer theory, and into gender clinics they funded, trans lobby groups, as well as foundations that train trans activists to be part of school boards and politics and stuff like that. So hopefully they won't win, I hope. But if we can manage it, we will push this ideology back down because it's being exposed a lot. Like the medical scandal has been blown wide open, especially the pediatric arm of it. The autogynephilia, like sexual men's rights movement thing has been really exposed more and more and more. Like I just saw an autogynephile on the White Lotus show. JD Vance was talking about autogynephiles. Like people are actually now understanding that this is coming from.
You're a JD Vance follower?
No, but I just saw him on Joe Rogan once, and he was talking about autogynephilia. So like what I'm saying is that the mainstream and people in power, like people like Jennifer Billick are working her ass off to show you the money, show you where this came from, give you names, give you foundations, give you trans lobby groups. So all of this, like women are working tirelessly to expose this cult for what it is. And the harm just keeps piling up from the cult too. So it's not like this isn't sustainable. It's not a sustainable behavior to pretend you're the opposite sex. It's not a sustainable ideology because it causes endless harm to everybody. Like it hurts everybody. It hurts the people who are doing it. It hurts the people who are around the people doing it. It hurts society. So it's just not sustainable. Even if we were to do nothing and not fight it and not resist it, it would still implode upon itself because it is such a harmful practice and ideology.
So you, and pardon if I am struggling, your goal is to have essentially us fade back to where we were in like the 80s and before, where we weren't really talked about or acknowledged or anything like that. We just kind of were sort of there, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be, I would think, like, even the people who were doing it back then were still, like, perverts and weirdos and people, like, harming themselves and their families and whatever. I would wish that nobody would do this behavior, but of course there are going to be people who still do this behavior. What I want to see gone is the cult. I want to see gone the ideology. I want to see gone. I don't want even one more child to ever be put on a puberty blocker to try to pretend that they're the opposite sex. I don't want even one more healthy breasts of a child be cut off, or the healthy breasts of somebody who's traumatized or vulnerable or autistic or, you know, all these. I want to see the cult fall. And then the people who still really want to do this behavior because of whatever, they'll fade back into obscurity, I guess, like whatever. But the whole thing, I just want to see the social contagion go away, the medical scandal go away, the perverted fetishistic colonization of our sex go away, and we're going to keep fighting until it does.
So, would your ideal goal be like? Hang on, let me word this right. So, realistically, are you going to strive for obscurity or the complete? I don't want to use the word eradication because that sounds scary and harsh, but like, kind of like the eradication, I guess.
Well, what will be stopped is the spread of the social contagion. So that's pulling it out of schools, making it really unpopular and uncool. Like we're working on the culture too, like so that it's no longer cool to be sexist and dehumanizing and wearing women as a costume and violating people's boundaries. Like it's actually like, wow, you're a narcissist. Wow, you're fucking fetishistic. Like it will become taboo to do this behavior. So there's that, which will discourage a lot of people. But also just getting the indoctrination out of society. So defunding and attacking all of the like propped up foundations, trans lobby groups, and like, punish and penalize big corporation for all of their support. Like kind of like, when Dylan Mulvaney got like the Bud Light and everyone pushed back against Bud Light and boycotted them. Like that was penalizing that corporation for glorifying and spreading the ideology, right? So that everyone's like, fuck this. Because it's also just really dehumanizing to women. But so yeah, penalizing that, getting it out. Also, the medical scandal part of it is coming to an end fairly shortly. Here, we've got the studies, we've got the evidence, we've got systemic reviews, we've got whistleblowers, we've got the WPATH files, the CAS review, numerous systemic reviews. Now we've got the University of Texas and Oxford study that proves the exact opposite of what the insane trans lobby groups were trying to push for years. That it does increase unaliving ideation, depression, and anxiety. So the medical scandal part of it will stop. So they will no longer be mutilating, sterilizing, and helping people pretend they're the opposite sex in the medical system. Like there might be still like, I don't know, plastic surgeons or privatized things where people want to do crazy shit to their bodies. But as far as our tax-paying dollars, as far as our medical systems that have ethics and these kinds of things attached to them, then we won't be doing that anymore. So yeah, the corporate, the medical, big tech will be punished, like, and penalized for spreading this. Things like TikTok, right? Like they allow the trans side of it to go rampant, but then we're constantly being shut down and silenced, and our comments are taken down if we say men are not women. That violates community guidelines, so the big tech will be held accountable. Hopefully the lawsuits too, the detransitioners that are piling up, missing body parts, sterilized and traumatized, they're starting to sue the shit out of these people who did this to them. And so it'll just become like, wow, was this ever a catastrophic failure of an idea? Wow, did we ever hurt a lot of people? Wow, was this ever sexist and misogynistic? Wow, did we ever hurt women's rights and spaces in sports and prisons and get a lot of people raped and lost out on their opportunities and just all the negative consequences of this ideology? And oh, wow, look, did we ever hurt a bunch of young children and young people and spread perverted ideologies and it'll just become like an embarrassment to humanity that we ever did anything like this. And then the people who still want to continue to do this are just going to be very, very fringy.
Oh, okay. And then I think I just have one last question. Sorry, I'm really curious now. So say I was one of the ones, the final ones who just were going to do it anyway, even after everything that you said was going to be done is done. What would happen to me? How would I accomplish that? Would I just have to hunt down an obscure plastic surgeon and get it done myself? Would I be expected just to kind of suffer like this forever? Or would I be put in some kind of therapy to try to
I hope somebody would help you figure out why you don't like reality and why you want to escape it, why you want to pretend it's not real. I hope that nobody would ever do this to you, but there's, some people will put weird little horns on people's heads and dye their eyeballs black and cut off limbs for them and shit. Like people will do some fucked up shit for people. So you might be able to find someone to do that fucked up shit for you. But I would hope that you could just find resolution with reality, with your body. Stop trying to erase your humanity. Stop trying to erase the female that you are and pretend you're something you're not. But you also have to think, like, if there was ever like an apocalypse, or like not even that, but just like some kind of cyber attack or some kind of thing that happened, and the people who've castrated and destroyed their bodies, like, they wouldn't be able to get hormones, and you have to have either estrogen or testosterone to stay alive, or your bones will turn to dust. Like, you will unalive. So, like, for all the people who've done this horrific shit to their body, you are relying on big pharma for the rest of your life. And if something happens where you can't get those hormones, they just aren't available, something catastrophic happens where things just, like, the trucks aren't coming in or whatever, you're fucked. So, like, I really hope people don't put all their eggs in this basket, because it's just a stupid thing to do, and it's just harmful.
Okay, so the goal would ideally be detransition, but not for those who obviously whose mind you can't, like, change, right?
Detransitioning would be, to me, like, yeah, returning to health, returning to as much homeostasis as you can, like, stop self-harming. Like, I look at people who are doing this horrible shit to their body as continuous levels of self-harm. So I would like it, yeah, if people would stop hurting themselves, stop hurting their bodies, stop trying to force their body to express an aesthetic that isn't true. And go back to a normal, natural, homeostatic place. Some people have already castrated themselves, though, and some people have already, screwed their bodies up irreparably. But, for them, of course, they're going to have to stay on hormones, and they're going to have to do their best to try to be as healthy as they can. But yeah, I would hope that if there are hope for people who haven't completely destroyed their body systems, that they could go back to a natural stage of health, for sure.
All right, thank you. I just kind of was curious on what your, like, actual full take was. I'll take my leave now. I just wanted to hear you out.